Hi Flosstube, this is Judy from An Aussie in a Kiwi World, and this is Flosstube number 2. Today is Sunday the 31st of July 2022, and I'm back to do a WIP parade. So I do have, as mentioned in my first video, I do have quite a few WIPs. So what I decided to do is just today to do a WIP parade of my current 50 projects that I started off this year with from the 1st of January. And I will come back and do another WIP parade of all the other WIPs that I have that I'll be taking into 2023. I thought it would be easier to break that up than to have an extra long video as my number 2. So first of all, if I can just actually say that I truly appreciate everybody that's come and viewed my video, subscribed, liked, left comments, given me lovely feedback, asked some questions. It is actually quite an overwhelming sense of friendship, and it's hard to explain, but I watch Flosstube quite often, and I see other Flosstubers actually say how the community in Flosstube and cross-stitch community are all very giving and loving people. The friendships that I've made just by doing one video is amazing. It was 2 weeks ago, and I've got over 400 subscribers already, which just blows my mind that people will come and actually want to watch me again. So I do actually appreciate that, and I just want to let everybody know that I'm grateful for that happening. So I am going to organise to do some giveaways when I get to 500, and I have quite a few things that I can give away, so I will do that on my next video, which will be in a fortnight's time, hopefully. Regardless of whether I get to the 500 mark, I think to celebrate that I've reached the amount that I even have at the moment is something to celebrate for. So I will do a giveaway on the next video outside of this WIP parade. So on my first video, if you happen to actually see that and you haven't just come along because of my title being WIP parade, I did actually mention about that along with the Ladybird cross-stitch black work that I had done, there is a hummingbird that goes with it. So just before I start my WIP parade, I just wanted to actually show the progress on this one. This will probably come up on that next WIP parade that I mentioned of everything I'm taking through to 2023, but I just wanted to quickly show it here because I have had quite a few people ask about that project. So this is the hummingbird of the black work. And it is actually from, I can never ever pronounce it, sorry, it's AJISAI, and it's from AJISAIpress.com, and I did show the address last time as well, which is just here. Okay, so this is the hummingbird, and there's not a huge amount of progress, but this is the progress to give you an idea of what it actually looks like. So this was amazing to cross stitch. The colors in it, just the way that it actually stitches up is actually amazing. I really loved it. And then I was trying to do an alternate between the hummingbird, do a day on the hummingbird, a day on the ladybird, and the ladybird just seemed to take over. I just fell in love with it, and obviously, as you know, completed that one, and this one stayed where it was. So I will bring this back out in 2023. It's top of my list to actually do in there, and I hope to have a finish next year with this one. So that's the hummingbird. Okay, so I have 50 WIPs that I started with in January 1st, so I'm just going to go through and start from number 1 and work my way through to 50. I am down to 40 WIPs now, so there's 10 projects in there that I have actually completed. A couple of them I showed in my last video, and I will repeat them and just show you this in this video as well, just to make sure that I can keep the numbers continual. So I have I have my little diary here that I write information in about each project, anything that's relevant. So I will be flicking through, and I apologize if there's some noise with me flicking pages. I'll try to be as quiet as I can with doing that. just in case, I just put a blanket apology out at the beginning. So, okay, so my first project, number 1, was Once Upon a Fairy Tale. This is actually by Heaven and Earth, and it is an Amy Stewart bookshelf. So hopefully that light isn't too much, doesn't provide too much of a glare. I sort of got this new little setup with this light attached, but I'm not too sure whether it's going to be a little bit of a pain. So sorry about the reflection in my glasses as well, I just noticed. Okay, Once Upon a Fairy Tale. This was started on the 31st of October 2021, and I created a Facebook group with my girlfriend Nicole. This was to try to encourage both of us to get involved and try to get more stitches on it. As you'll probably note throughout my WIP parade, sometimes I'm really good at starting things with people, and I do keep it in my rotation, but I just don't seem to keep up with other people. So it doesn't matter whether I've gone way ahead, they always seem to be more ahead of me. So I do have some friends that have lots and lots of WIPs. Others are very monogamous on what they stitch, so they start something with me, they finish it way before I even get to finish even a quarter. So, but it's fun. Okay, so Once Upon a Fairy Tale, and this is where I am up to. So some of them I haven't taken out of the Q-snap, so please bear with the status of the way that it's set up, but I do have most of my projects in Q-snap, so I'm trying to not try to take them out if I can avoid that. Okay, so this is where I'm up to for the WIP parade. I'm not going to mention how far I've got at the moment, because what I want to do is go through and calculate each of the projects to the percentages that I'm at, and I will mark that I'll put the information down below in the description to show you where I'm at, how many stitches and things like that. But for now I just wanted to make sure I can get the video done and you can see with the progress, and I'll mention everything down below. Okay, so that's Once Upon a Fairy Tale. Now I'm just going to actually drop all these into this little tub that I've got to my left here. Project number 2 was Fruits of Plenty. I'm pretty sure everybody's seen this. If you haven't, jump on over to the Modern Folk Embroidery. It's a free pattern that was done in 2021. It was a stitch along. I collected all the parts knowing that I wasn't going to start it at the time, even though I loved everybody's progress pictures, but I collected them all, and I started this one on the 3rd of November 2021. I finally gave in, and I've chosen to do this in black, and so 310 and a DMC 996. As mentioned in my last video, 996 is my favorite color in the DMC range, and this is where I'm up to. So this is actually just part of section 1, and I think I've got to get down to about here to fill the page and across a little bit further to do the first section. I love this project. It is so fun to work on. If I didn't have so many WIPs that I was working on, I think I would stick to this one and just monogamously do this. But it is a fun stitch. And when you see all the different colours, people have used red and black. Some people have used two colours of blue, 2 colours of green. They're just amazing. Every single project is amazing. So it's a wonderful project to work on. Project number 3 is a linen and threads project. Now I showed this project in my first video because I actually love the colours. Another 996, and this has also got DMC 905. So this is the 2019 mystery sampler from Linen and Threads, and in my last video I've just actually had this peacock done. So in this last couple of weeks I've actually had quite a few challenges going on, and one of the challenges I have in one of the groups was it had 11 tasks, and in those 11 tasks, if you couldn't actually complete a project that had something to do with that task or that prompt, you could do 300 pink penalty stitches. So there was quite a few in that out of the 11 that I couldn't actually do, so I stitched 300 penalty stitches, and I now have my peacock as all the border's been done. So that was just under 4,000 stitches, the pink border. That's what I've been working on the majority of the fortnight, along with some other things. Yeah, and I absolutely love it. I just think it's going to be amazing once I get the other parts of the project in there. So that is wonderful. Quite a fun one. And that's also still available on their website. If you jump over to Linen and Threads, you can still download that project. So by all means, go ahead and do that. Project number 4 is another Linen and Threads. This is the 2020 mystery sampler that they had, and it's called Friends and Family. So this one was actually started on the 5th of November. It's done in a DMC 905, which is green, and this is where I'm up to. So this is quite fun to actually just work on each motif as they come, and it sort of gives you something to achieve to finish, and then next time you say, okay, well, I'm going to pick it up and do this section, or I'm going to do this section. It's actually quite fun. So it feels like you're doing like a mini finish each time you do a motif. So I haven't actually mentioned what fabric these are on. The majority of my fabric's on Ada, because that's my preference. There are a couple in here that are done on a even weave, I believe. Or maybe not. They might all actually be Ada. And this one's just an 18 count white Ada. Okay. Project number 5 is Flight of the Bumblebee. This was also shown in my first video, so I have done a little bit of work on this over the last fortnight. So this is Flight of the Bumblebee by Bothy Threads. And this is where I'm up to. So last week I had the majority of this done. I've only just worked on the 3 flowers just underneath the bee, and a little bit of the green on the far right. So I love these colours. There's just something about stitching them with green. They just work perfectly, and that's a really fun project. So that's been done on the kitted fabric and floss that comes with the kit, and one of my favourites as well. So I'm probably going to say that to most of these projects, which is why they're currently in my 50 WIP rotation. So the next one is a finish that I've had this year. I started it on the 12th of December 2021, and this was started to try to get the 200 stitches in for my No New Starts, the challenge group, and I started it and then really loved stitching on it, but had so many that I needed to do in between, so it took longer than what I would normally take for one of her projects, but it was actually really fun. So this is Let It Ride, and it's been done on an 18 count marble Ada, so it doesn't, you can't really see the marble, you can probably just slightly see it. And so started, like I said, on the 12th of December, sorry, of 2021, and it was finished on the 17th of June 2022. So this is a project that I'm going to fully finish and take it over to my brother for Christmas when I go back to Australia for Christmas this year, because he loves motorbikes. And as I mentioned on my last video, I'm not a fully finisher, but there's been lots and lots of comments telling me how beautiful the projects are and that maybe I should think about finishing. So it does sort of give me a little bit of a push to maybe do that. So I will attempt to finish some projects in the coming few months. So my next project, which is project number 7, this is Owl Forest embroidery, and I'm pretty sure most people have seen this also. It's 100 owls. So I started this one in June of 2021, and I started this with a couple of friends, Michelle and Sarah. Michelle's finished hers, and I'm pretty sure Sarah is a fair way into hers as well. And I've done mine on a unknown opalescent Ada, which is, I'm pretty sure it's hand dyed. An amazing, it actually looks really lovely in person. Excuse the wrinkles, I haven't actually ironed anything, but this is where I'm up to. So this is such a fun stitch as well, because, and being on 14 count Aida, it's quite a big, the little owls turn into be like quite a big stitch for visually. It's actually quite good. So that's 100 owls. That was one of my projects this week, so I've had that out quite a bit. The Dreaming of Tulips I also showed in my first video. I've had this out this week because I needed to stitch on something that used hand-dyed threads. So I used the Weeks Dye Works, which is what this has got. And I've just done a little bit more. I've just done this top tulip just here, and I've added the starts of these other tulips here. Infilled the extra light green that was in between these leaves just here. So that was, I think, 600 stitches that I'd put into this since last time. And that's done on an ice blue Aida, 18 count Aida, which was purchased from Stitch New Zealand down in Christchurch. My next project is Alice in Wonderland by Satsuma Street, and this was a stitch along that they had a little while ago. I didn't pick it up at the time and missed out on getting it for the pieces for free. However, I did go in and buy the full pattern. So I love Alice in Wonderland and anything to do with Wizard of Oz, so this was a must for me to get in there and do it. I had completed the Wizard of Oz with the stitch along that they completed, and then that's what brought me to the attention of this one as well. So that's Alice in Wonderland, and this is where I'm at. This is a good stitch as well, quite fun, and the colours are lovely. There's quite bright colours coming into there, and that's just done on a light blue Aida, 18 count being my favourite. Wonderful. So throughout these WIPs you'll see that there's a few designers that I do actually stick to quite often. One of them is Autumn Lane Stitchery. Now this is project number 10, and this is Lost Soul Cemetery. This was one of the very first of the Autumn Lane Stitcheries I started, and it's lots of work along here because it's pretty much all full coverage, that bottom section there. It is a lot of work, but it is a fun stitch to actually change the colours. The depth that Aaron does with his colouring just makes it look so real. So this is where I'm at, and again I apologise for the wrinkles. I'm not someone that likes to iron clothing, and it's probably not high on my priority either to try to iron my projects. So this is where I'm at the moment. I'm definitely halfway, so above the Grim Reaper where the spider is, that is the halfway point, and then I've just got to obviously finish this bit on the side here. Definitely a fun one to just outline some colour sections, and then if I need to fill in, or I need a quick 200 stitches here or there, just to grab it and pop those colours in. So this was really fun and I absolutely love it. Like all of them, I really need to get back into trying to finish some of these projects. I do have some goals which I'll share at the end. So my next project is number 11. This is a finish. So this is Lizzie Kate, and this is To-Do List. This was started in December of 2021, and sorry, I didn't write down, let me just double check, sorry, where I am. Okay, this one was actually finished on 12th of June. So I had done quite a bit of it and then decided in June that I just needed to get the little ones that I was close to a finish and get them finished. This is just on an unknown natural Aida, colour natural, I'm pretty sure, a 14 count. Yeah, that was a fun stitch as well. Who doesn't love Lizzie Kate? She does some amazing projects. Okay, the next one I have I also showed this one in my first video, which is Our Forest Alice in Wonderland. This was the stitch along that they had actually done over 19 fortnights. So I started this on the 7th of January 2021 and I finished it on the 2nd of May 2022. It was quite fun as well. It's hard to actually find projects that we don't want to stitch on them if they're not fun. I'm pretty sure everybody would agree with that. But there are some that are just way more fun than others, like getting from one place to the next and finding things in there. A bit like Modern Folk Embroidery, you start stitching one thing. Long Dogs, you start stitching one thing, and all of a sudden a little bit, like 100, 200 stitches down the way, and you've found another animal or another item that you hadn't picked up in the original photo. So fun with stitching is the way that we need to do it. It's a hobby, not a chore, and I certainly have lots of fun when I do my stitching. So the next one is another finish. This is Bent Creek Be Strong, and this was quite deceiving, the amount of stitches that actually fitted into this little one here. But another fun one. Started this on the 14th of November 2021 and I completed this one on the 5th of June 2022. So a lot of my projects throughout this WIP parade are actually being started in either November or December. That was when I found out about the No New Starts group and knew that I had to have at least 200 stitches on each of my projects to be able to take them into the challenge. So a lot of these had a little bit on there, and the ones that were done before November had a few stitches on there, but I either had to get them up to the 200 or they qualified already, which is the ones prior to November. From November on through to December, they were all started based on the No New Starts. The next project I have was, this is lovely, I've seen so many people actually complete this, and that is the Blue Flowers Tudor Bee. Now there is a quilt bee as well, which I have in my stash that I want to do as a companion piece. This is lovely to stitch on. I've used DMC for my stitching, and this is where I'm at. You can't really see all of it, but I have done the white in the wings just here, and in the frame as well, all the white has been completed as well. That's Tudor Bee, and that's been done on a 14 count Ada called Geyser by Country Stitch, which is Country Stitch is actually a hand dyed fabric here in New Zealand. So I'll just actually try to get that to focus, see if I can. Yeah, I'll put their details down the bottom if that didn't actually focus correctly. The next project we've got is project number 15. This is Little Dove Designs, and it's the Christmas Magic Cell. So one that only come out in just a half a dozen parts, I believe. And I started this one on the 16th of November. So many bright colours. And for me to have it ready with the 200 stitches, I just stitched the border. So that made it easy for me. Now this has been stitched on a Zweigart Spotted Grey Ada. Sorry, get that sorted. And that's the project. That's where I'm at the moment. Another project that for when I do my challenges is when you've got to do 200 stitches or a couple of hundred stitches, it's easy to come and find a project like this and be able to focus on it, because you can see the change as you do the progress. I think the last challenge I had to do a certain amount of white stitches, and so I just filled in this block and there was an extra 30 stitches more than what I needed to do in the challenge, so it makes it really cool. And speaking of challenges, there's quite a few challenges out there. I didn't realise that there's as many as they are. I've joined in just to a couple, and I mentioned those in my first video. I will mention down in the description this time about other challenges groups that I've actually found. One of the admin ladies of No New Starts, which is, her name's Lisa. She has a Flosstube channel called Shady Trees, and I'll put her link down below. They're just trying to, at the moment they're trying to hit the 1,000 subscriber mark, so it'll be lovely if you could go over and check out her videos. They do quite a lot of challenge updates, so they'll come through a few times in the month and give you the challenges that are going on within the groups that they participate and show you what they're going to use for those challenges. So if you are someone that wants to go into a few challenge groups and check out what they are, whether it's for now or later on, start a new one next year, she has some really cool ones that she's involved in. So jump over and have a look. Shady Trees is her Flosstube, and I will have a look. I'll link her details down below. So the next project that I've got is another finish. This was Bent Creek's Love. This was a beautiful pattern to stitch. I started with the word love. One of my challenges was to actually do the red stitches, and that's where I started. So this is really cute. Another fun one. Project number 17 is Let's Be Kind. Now, this is from Modern Folk Embroidery. It was released in 2020, I believe, when the pandemic hit, and it was just a reminder to everybody to try to be kind. So I'm not 100% sure that I like the colours that I've actually stitched this on. So I just think that it just doesn't look as good as Jacob had in his sample, which was he had it all in red. I thought I'd just sort of be clever and try to do a two-tone, but I'm not convinced that is. But either way, whether it's liked or not liked, it is a very good reminder that I like to say for all of us to actually be kind, regardless of if we're in a pandemic or whether we're not. Being kind comes for free, and we should certainly make sure we share that with everybody. So that's Let's Be Kind. Another one that I showed in my first video, which I'll just give you a quick look at it, which is the Thanksgiving quote with sunflower. This was from an Etsy purchase. Luba Davies Atelier, I think it is. I'll pop her details down below when I put all the details of each of the projects. And this is where I'm at. So this is a pink 16 count Ada called Elizabeth, and it's hand dyed by Stephanie is where I've purchased it from. Now you can't actually see the pink in this. It's quite a deeper pink, but a gorgeous colour, and it doesn't take up the whole of the fabric, so I'll be able to use it for other projects as well, which is great. Wonderful. So the next two projects, number 19 and number 20, are from Caterpillar Cross Stitch. I think everybody's aware of the Hello Petal and Hello Pumpkin. So I'm just going to show you. Because the pattern doesn't come with the photo when you get the stitch along, it only has the actual pattern, so I don't want to show that. So this is the Hello Petal, what that looks like, and I'll show you where I'm at. These are stitched on a hand-dyed unknown fabric. I don't even remember where I purchased it from. They were all from the same place, and that's where I'm up to. So it's quite cute. So I'm just going to pop this back in the little bag that I have the floss in, so I don't mix them up. Okay, so that one's the Hello Petal, and the next one is Hello Pumpkin. And that's what this one looks like. And this is where I'm at on the Hello Pumpkin. And a little bit of extra work on this one. So when I've been working on these, I start from the middle, and I've been trying to work my way down to the trees to actually then get the base of the tree done, and then I'll go back up and fill up the the top. So I had a couple of those started. They were started in November of 2021, and I decided to take the plunge and try to have all 4 of them started. So these 2 were started on the 19th, and I believe the other 2, which are further down the list, were actually started on the 20th of November. I'm hoping to have those 4 projects all finished at the end of this year. So it'll take a little bit of concentrating to throw them into the rotation a little bit more often. Okay, so the next project's actually a finish, and I don't have the finished project here because it was stitched for my daughter and her husband. They are crazy Pokemon fans, and they got married in February, so I was going to try to do this and have it completed for them for February. I started it on the 31st of December to try to sneak it in for the no new starts for this year, and I completed it in April, so it was a little bit later than what I would have liked, but that was the Pokemon Go Eevee is the project. This was amazing to stitch. So I stitched all the blacks, and I had each time I had done a colour, each time I had actually done filled in a colour, I took another photo. So what I want to do is create like a little bit of a video, a slideshow of all those photos, and show as it actually goes through and how I stitched it. So if I do manage to do that in the next little while, I'll add that to one of my videos, my upcoming videos. So that was the Pokemon Go Eevee. The next one is a very well-known one from Fat Quarter Shop, and that is Flea Market Flowers. This was started with a few of my friends, and I believe Michelle again has it already finished, and it's Christine and Helen, myself, Letitia. There's quite a few people that have actually started it, and the majority of them are way ahead of where I am, so which doesn't actually surprise me. So this is where I'm up to on this one. I used the border as a sort to try to frame it, and oops, so I've got all the border done, and now I'm just starting on filling them in from the bottom. So I like to, when I've got a colour out, I like to go and do the colour whichever's in the Q-snap, and so the last colour that I was using was the green, so I just filled in all the green of that colour that I could see, and then I'll move on to the next bit. So that one's just done on a 16 count blue ice Ada from Country Stitch. Oh, sorry, from Country Stitch, and it's sorry, yes, the name of it was Blue Ice. Sorry about that. One of my very favourites, and I showed this one last video as well, is Tilton Crafts Adele. Now this hasn't actually been pulled out in the last fortnight. I've had many other ones that I needed to do, and unfortunately within the last fortnight as well, my husband actually it was infected, whichever way that it goes, with COVID. So we had a week of isolation that we had to actually isolate. I was actually quite unwell myself, but with the same symptoms, but tested negative the whole time, which is really good. So now he's just on the mend, quite tired, but is on the mend. So I didn't stitch as much as what I would have liked to the last fortnight. So this is the Adele Project, and this is up to 23,000 odd stitches. I would like to get the rest of this black box filled in, so I might work on that again for some of this week and try to see whether I can use it for some of my challenge tasks when I need to do a bulk lot of stitches. I know one of them has a stitch in black, so that might be a good project to do. So that's Tilton Crafts Adele. That was project number 23. So 24, project number 24 is a Little Dove Designs, and that is the Hopes and Dreams. They make such colourful charts, and they're really easy to follow. Because they come from overseas, it's quite costly for us to purchase the kits. I would really love to do that, purchase the kit and get everything all arrive in a little packet and stuff to be able to do an unboxing even, but it's quite expensive once we do the exchange rate here in New Zealand and then do the delivery. Sometimes the delivery cost to send these things over is more than the actual project itself. So I do purchase a lot of PDFs to avoid that, and then I just kit it up with my own stash. So this one's just done on a 16 count white Ada, and this is where I'm at. Started in the middle with the hearts at the top, and I'm just working my way to the bottom, and then I'll work across the bottom and then work up again. So that's cool. Now, project number 25 was a finish that I'd showed last week. It's an Autumn Lane Stitchery, a project called Let It Snow, and I believe last week I called it Let It Go, so I apologise for that, but this is Let It Snow, and it's done on an opalescence 16 count Ada, and this is really cute. So that's quite a fun one. Okay, so just to give you a little bit of a break from the WIP parade, I just want to actually do a couple of shout outs, if I may, to I've had some shout outs this last fortnight from people that have done it for me, and I would really love to pay back the favour. So the first one is Nicole, and that is North Island Stitcher. She is the lady that actually got me into doing a Flosstube. Having a chat one day, and she introduced me to a couple of challenge groups, and so we were in a challenge chat thing on Messenger, and she said that she's going to do a Flosstube, and so I sort of just jumped on the bandwagon. I said, well, when you do one, I'll do one. Well, she went out and done one the next day, and then said, okay, now you're it, and I then had to obviously follow through with my promise and do a Flosstube, hence the reason why I started one a couple of weeks ago. So I'm really glad I did. So she shouted me out on hers, and her name's North Island Stitcher, another Kiwi here, and I will put her details down below. Another shout out I received was from Dizzy Stitcher. Dizzy Stitcher he does lots of full coverages, and he's got lots of projects the same as I do. He has his own Facebook group, and is just a really just nice guy. Like, you can go on there and listen to him for hours. Does his Flosstubes every Saturday, or the majority of Saturdays when he can obviously do that, and it is definitely part of my schedule on a Saturday to go and watch him with his Flosstube. I wait for the time for that to come. So yeah, so go and check out him. Another one was Kelly at Kel Stitcher, and she's got some really, really nice WIPs, and she's just come up with what she's going to do is start doing. She's got 4 designers that she wants to have a full coverage project on the go at the same time. I think it's like a Heaven and Earth, a Pain-Free Crafts, Articy I think is another one, and sorry, I can't remember the 4th one, but pop over and have a look at hers. All these details will be down below. Katt from Catstitch, she is another Kiwi and does some amazing Halloween projects. She has been venturing out into different avenues lately and doing other designs, little Christmas stockings and things like that. She's I think come out of her shell now. She's gone outside of the Halloween realm and is finding lots of ones. I think she's up to like finish number 59 of all her little small projects that she's doing this year. So definitely go over and check her out. And the last one is, but not the least, is Gail from Wombat Hollow Crafts. Gail is from Australia and does lots of different crafts, knitting, crochet. I'm pretty sure it's crochet. I know she knits, diamond painting. she's got lots of videos. She does tutorials to show you how to do things. She finishes lots of projects. A lovely lady, so pop over and see hers as well. So I will put all those details down below if you want to go and check them out if you don't already. Maybe I'm a little bit slow to the Flosstube channels, but I have been watching them for quite some time, and I'm not sure about everybody else, but when I find someone that I really enjoy, I love to go back and start watching them from number one, just to see where they've come from, what projects they had back then to whether they're still got them now and things like that. So it's quite a lot of fun to have to sit there and binge watch them. So I'm not too sure how fun that would be for them with me liking all these old ones that had happened months and months before. But yeah. Okay, so let's get back into the WIP parade. So we've got 25 projects to go, and we're at 40 minutes. So I'm guessing we may be maybe another half an hour. So for those that are still with me, I do appreciate it. And I hope you enjoy to see what else. I've got a big pile now on my right hand side that I'll start working on and showing you through. So the next one that I am doing is a caterpillar cross stitch one, and this is one part of the series, is Hello Dear. So that's what it looks like. Now if you did capture me on my first video, you would have recalled me saying that when a designer comes out and they have quite a series, I am a little bit of a FOMO, and I like to purchase every single one in the series, so I don't like to miss out on anything. So that's exactly what happened with these, is I purchased one and then I just got every other one as well. So this one's Hello Dear, and that's where I'm at. So I've reached the bottom now, and I'll start working across the bottom on the grass and get the deer done, and then come back up and fill up the top. So these are so fun to stitch, these the deer hello ones. Is there anybody else that's still stitching them, or is it I'm probably last on the boat to stitch them? But yeah, maybe pop down in the comments whether you have stitched them, or whether you're in the process of doing them, or they're not something that appeals to you. Then that's totally fun as well. So the project number 27 is Hello Sunshine, and this has got the best colours of the whole series. I just love that butterfly, it's just gorgeous, and the flamingo, that's really cute too. So that's Hello Sunshine, and this is where I'm at. Oops. So I've made my way down to the bottom of this one, and filled in the flowers. So I'm just now working on the flamingo, so nice pinks and stuff coming up. Yeah, so that's just stitched on an unknown Ada, the same as the rest of the series that I'm not sure where I purchased them from. Might have been from a D-stash or something like that, but it's a 14 count Ada. Okay, so the next one, project number 28, is Long Dog Sampler. This is You Belong to Me. This has some amazing items on this project, and this is what I was saying before. You start with one, and as you move across, it's all of a sudden, oh, there's a bird, oh, there's something else. It's like just so many things to actually look at. And this is where I'm at. So the colours that I'm using for this is the purple is 550, which you can't see very many purple. There is, just if I can, there is a couple of little bits of purple here, which they're the only purple I'm going to use throughout the project, of just those the little things there, and I think they're like little butterflies. The pink is 718, DMC 718, which is obviously the majority of the project, and the blue is 798. So I'm just working my way across to the far side here, and once I've done that, I'm going to go down and I'll do the border right round, so I can make sure that I'm going to get the border to match, and then start working as freely as I like wherever. So who doesn't love a long dog? Okay, so this is a perfect example of a project that I started with a friend, and my friend Susan. I started this on the 30th of August, and it was Susan does monogamous stitching, and when she doesn't do monogamous stitching, it's because she's either ran out of a colour and she's waiting for it to arrive, and she'll start something else, but as soon as that arrives, she'll go back to her first project. So started this along. I just happened to unfortunately buy 2 of these patterns and didn't realise, so I put one on a D-stash page, and that's how I met Susan. She had actually purchased it from me, so we said, why don't we do it together? So that's exactly what we've done. So this was the project Country Threads Paris. So we've started this. Susan has now finished her project, which didn't surprise me. And she does like to rub it in as often as she can to say what's happening with Paris. Well, Paris doesn't get very much love, not as much as what it should. But I do hope to have this finished in the near future. So I've done completely the letter R, and I've now moved back to the A. So that is where I'm at. This needs to get a little bit more love. Yeah. It's a fun stitch. I do own the other ones in the series, surprise, surprise, and that is the Sydney, London, New York and Rome. So I do have all of those, and they will be started ready. They'll be started in December, those other ones, ready to come across into my 2023 plans, just because I want to throw it out there and give myself extra few projects to work on. So the next one is I found this project by watching another Flosstuber, and it was, I love bees, and I find when you watch Flosstube and you watch a very variety of Flosstubers, that the same sort of genre or the same kind of theme seems to go through at certain times. So at the time when I found this, bees were the fun thing to actually stitch on. So this is a Gecko Rouge Kit. I purchased this from the UK. I'm pretty sure they're from the UK. And it comes as a kit. You can't purchase these patterns just as a pattern. You have to actually get the kit. So I love bees. I loved the colour, and I fell in love with the design when I seen it on Flosstube. And this is where I'm at. Now you'll have to apologise that I can't take it off the Q-snap. But this is where I'm at with this project. I will put the percentage and everything where I'm at, how many stitches I've done of the project down below. But for now, this is fun. I'm just trying to fill in all the confetti within the Q-snap part of it. So just up the top here, I'm trying to fill in all these sections and get those completed, which is what inside the Q-snap. So I sort of tried to be a little bit clever, and I hated all the extra fabric that hangs over the side. So in all Judy's wisdom, I decided that I would sew this to keep these parts stopped from flapping around. Well, the problem with that is now if I need to move the Q-snap, which is what I wanted to do to move back to this section, I have to undo that. And I figure I might as well just leave it there until I finish what's inside this Q-snap, and then I'll move it from there. I have also changed the way that I use my Q-snaps. A couple of these older ones I haven't changed, but the majority of them now I actually stitch within the ditch. So I stitch that way, and so my project is actually in there. See how horrible the back looks? That's extreme cross country, going long ways with threads and stuff, but never mind. I don't see the back, and I don't believe anybody will care once they can see how lovely it looks on the front. The next project is a Articy project. This is number 31, and I don't have the pattern cover page. It's a PDF, but I didn't print out the page, so my apologies. So I have actually now just taken a photo so that you can see what it looks like. And this is the pattern. Now Sharon from Fun with Cross Stitch actually is doing this pattern. Another floss tuber from Australia that is great to watch if you haven't watched her already. I'll add her details down below. This is the map of Australia. Sharon is away like into her project than what I am, but this is where I'm at. And this is the one of only a couple of projects that I actually started parking. The others I've now stitched in all the threads, but this one I'm continuing on to park, and I do actually enjoy it. But some projects, just when it's not a full coverage, I find I struggle to do that. But so with the full coverage projects, I do want to actually start parking a little bit more. That's Map of Australia. The next one, project number 31, is a finish, and it's from Twisted Threads. This is called Bunny Gingham, and I decided to put it on a pink gingham fabric. It's got the called for DMCs. I started this in December of 2021, and this one was completed on the 11th of January 2022. So that was quite fun to stitch, and quite a quick stitch actually, because once I started doing the letters and found how quick it was easy just to, okay, well, I'll finish the bunny, and then it was sort of done and dusted. Now the next project, which is project number 33, is actually 6 projects all together, but I'm just doing them on the same fabric. So this is Country Threads Mood Cubes. So these are 6 individual cubes that come with all different faces and all different colours. So that's the first 3, and then you've got a purple one and a blue one and a teal one. So 6 different cubes, and I decided instead of doing them all separate, I would do them all together. So it's just on a 14 count Aida. Sorry, an 18 count. Is it 18? No, I don't believe it is. I believe it's a 14 or 16 count Aida, and it's an opalescent. And this is what I've done, is just to put all 6 projects on the one, and yeah, just to frame it that way. So it's actually quite cool. Another project that I started with one of my challenges, where I just had to do a certain amount of stitches, and I'd stitch the border and then into each of these. Surprisingly, each one of these here that have got the black to do one of the cubes is about 500 stitches. So it's easy to, you don't realise how many actually stitch in a block. So that was fun. Okay, project number 34 is an Autumn Lane Stitchery project. This one is the Easter Garden. I love the vibrant colours in this. The pink just jumps at you when you look at it. There's all different greens, like 3 or 4 different greens that make all the leaves and things. So that's the Easter Garden, and this is where I'm at, which I haven't even given the poor bunny a head yet. And I've sort of moved over to, I got to the bottom, started in the middle, moved to the bottom, and then went around with this bottom stem, and now I'm just going to fill those in, fill that round part of this side, oops, sorry, fill that part and then move back across and around. So this one's done on a 14 count blue, hand dyed by Frog and Tink. They're an Australian dyer, and it's quite a nice Aida to work on. Project number 35 is Dreaming of Sunflower by Rosewood Manor. Now this is, oops, hopefully it's not glary. This is really bright and lovely. I love seeing the ones that Carla's doing, and Colleen, is it Colleen? Or Corinne from Grace Note Stitches, and Hannah Dowling. They're doing like a sal, where a round robin, where they do stitch on somebody's Rosewood Manor and then pass it on. So it's lovely to see everybody doing these as well. So that's the sunflowers, and this is where I'm at. It's quite good. I just started in the top left corner, and I will work my way possibly down as much as I can do within the Q-snap, and then move the Q-snap. So this is what I meant by when I said I'd stitch in the ditch. So instead of actually stitching where it's actually flat, you're doing it on the flat part, I do it on the inside so it's actually indented. And the main reason why I do that is because when you stitch like that, you can actually stitch as close to the side of the Q-snap as you can. But when you sign it, when you actually try to finish your thread off, you're not trying to get your needle into here. Like, you're not trying to actually try to pick up your needle by the side of the Q-snap. It just goes straight off the edge. So hopefully that makes sense. But it does make, to me, it makes it a lot easier for me to stitch using the Q-snaps. So that's Dreaming of Sunflowers. The next one is Dreaming of Fuchsia, so same range or series. And this is where I'm at. So this one is WIP number 36, stitched on 18 count blue Ada from Zweigart. Yeah, so I sort of just started from the bottom with these ones here and started working up, and now I'm just trying to fill out the very bottom of it, and I'll fill the Q-snap and then move the Q-snap over, just to keep going. So project number 37 is Barbara Anna. Barbara Anna has some amazing projects, and this one I found in one of the magazines, which was Punch Needle Primitive, is it? Punch Needle? Sorry, I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. Punch Needle Primitive Stitching, I think. Sorry, you'll probably know. Everybody's probably yelling at me what it is, but you'll know. So this one is Dancer, and I have this one stitched on a 16 count grey spotted Ada from Zweigart with the cord for DMC, and this is where I'm at. So this is lovely. I love how her projects have this key in the majority of them, if not everyone, I think. Yeah, so with this one I sort of just started in the middle, done the black first, and then just starting to do the colours, and as I do the colour, try to colour complete as I go. So, and I love this fabric. It just gives it such a good design, a good look, sorry. Okay, so Autumn Lane Stitchery, again one of my favourites. Not that you'll be able to tell that when I show you the progress on there, because it's pretty poor. So this is the Potions and Spells, project number 38, and it's just done on a 18 count Ada, which is called Halloween, or Halloween Smoke actually, from Country Stitch. And this is my small progress there. So I must get all these out. These were actually on my WIP board to complete for this month, and today's the last day of July, so they won't be completed in the month that they were called. They will get completed for next month, so they'll be my first couple of this, and one of the others that are coming up will be one of the first projects I work on in the month of August. Project number 39, we're nearly at the end, guys. Project number 39, Dreaming of Iris, and another Rosewood Manor to go along with the others. So beautiful colours, and this is where I'm at. Just a little bit of progress, excuse the runaway thread just there, and started from the corner and just working my way around. I don't really have a set. I do sometimes like to start right from the middle, because then I know that my fabric's going to work, but with some projects it's really hard to start from the middle, depending on how their patterns are. So I sort of thought I'll start from the corner and work my way around. So that's Iris, or Dreaming of Iris. The next one is Autumn Lane Stitchery. So it's called Hallows Eve Hunting. Halloween one. And this one's also on a this one's called Storm from Country Stitch. Sorry, it's got another runaway black thread there, and I haven't done much at all on this one, so that needs some love. That's the other one that's on my WIP board, my WIP Go board that I need to work on, so that'll be getting some stitches shortly. And again, Autumn Lane Stitchery. This one is project number 41, called the Lunar Witch, and there's quite a bit of stitching in this one. I think it's quite deceiving. So this one is done on a Country Stitch fabric called Thundercloud, and this is where I'm at. So I've outlined the witch, and I do have lots of colouring in to do of black. So another one that's on my WIP Go board that's been called. So it looks like I'm going to have an Autumn Lane August, which will get all those up to where they need to be. So another Autumn Lane Stitchery, which is this one. This one's project number 42, and it is Midnight Brew. So this one has been stitched on a Under the Sea fabric, which is the called for fabric, and it is called Darkness Falls, and this is where I'm at. I just love this cat. It's like as if it's been scared. It's really cool. I love black shadow work, like where you just do the silhouette of the black. It makes it fun to actually fill in all the black in one go and just colour complete. Just a few more projects to go. This one is project number 43, and it is another Autumn Lane Stitchery. They have such a variety of their stitches to go from a Halloween to all of a sudden now Santa Claus. This is Santa Claus is Coming to Town. A beautiful project. Now you can actually do this in two ways. They have where you've got the little Santa Claus just down here on top of the word town, or they have got a version where you can have a Santa Claus at the top here, and then there's some snowflakes in here instead. I have actually stitched it with the Santa Claus across the town. I feel that looks, to me, it looks actually nicer. But yeah, so I've gone out on a limb here, and instead of doing it on a blue, I've done it on a Christmas green. So it does look a little bit different, but this is where I'm at. And this is actually a 14 count green Christmas Ada. I don't know where I've got it from, and it's actually quite bright. It's not as subtle as what it looks like in the photo. It's quite a bright green, but it's fun. Christmas green, I'm pretty sure most people will know what that is for the fabric. This is the next one, which is number 44. Now this is was my very first Dimensions kit, and little did I know that Dimension kits have all different threads. They don't just do 2 over 1, they do lots of different ones. You can have 1 thread, you can have 5 threads, you can yeah, so I do have a few Dimension kits in my stash. This is the first one, and I can't say that they're my favorite because of all the different threads that they use, the amount. But I do agree that it makes an amazing difference with how they've got the thickness, because it makes it so it's like a 3D kind of thing. So this is the Beguiling. I don't even know how to pronounce that. It's a tiger, and I'll give you if you like it, I'll give you a close up there so you can actually see what it's actually called. Beguiling. Yeah, sorry, it's not something that's obviously coming to me how to actually pronounce it, but it's a tiger. And this is where I'm at. So I'm pretty sure it actually goes sideways like that. No, that way. So all of here was done in multiple different strands of thread. Apologise about the dogs. if you can hear them. So these are all different kinds, 3, 4, 5 strands in there, but when you actually look at it, it actually looks amazing. So yeah, there's a reason why they do that on their designs, and it does work. So okay, project number 45, so 5 to go. This one's a finish. Showed it on my first video, which was an Autumn Lane Stitchery Best Friends, a little small full coverage piece, and it was really, this is one of the favorites of their designs that they have. I do have another one that I finished of theirs as well, but it wasn't within this 50, so I'll show you that on a finish parade at another time. Now this is a Bothy Threads project, and there's 3 in 1 of this project. Those that like Bothy will probably know. So it's called Cats Follow Me, and there's 1, 2 and 3. So what I decided to do was actually do all 3 on the one project. So I'm going to have the number 1 in the middle where they've got the 2 cats, and then either side of them I'm going to actually put the number 2, the 2 and the 3. So if I can try to, I don't know how this is going to actually go, so it may fail, but if I can try to hold it like this, this is what I'm going to try to do, is actually have all those 3 cats on the one project, and yeah, next to each other. So I started with the middle number 1, and this is where I'm at, still in the Q-snap with all my extra fabric. So just to here is actually the side of the project of the first one, and then obviously it will go horizontal, sorry, it'll go vertical, straight up, and then I'll do the 3 across the fabric. So yeah, then that's just done on a 14 count white Aida, and the DMC or the floss that comes from the kit is what I'm using. So Barbara Anna, this is Spellville. So quite a Halloween-y sort of style. The colours probably aren't as bright as what I like in my projects. I do like real bright red and greens and pinks and purples, but this is lovely to stitch on. So because it wasn't sort of really my cup of tea with the colours, I didn't change the colours. I've left all the colours as they're called for, but I did put it onto a purple piece of fabric, or a purple turquoise piece of fabric. So this is actually hand dyed by Stephanie, and it's called Bewitched. Yeah, so it's lovely. I'm trying to colour complete at the moment to get the majority of the colours done, and black was the main one. Next project number 48, and I've got Lady Queen. So this is a fox and rabbit design, and it's just the ladybird, and this is where I'm at. So this is on a country stitch fabric, which is actually a pink, and it doesn't show, it's not showing up pink in the camera, but this is pink, and that's where I'm at. And that's called New Dawn, sorry. Now another fox and rabbit project for number 49. They were all started in December. This is started in December. This one was started in December as well. This is the Monarch, so a nice butterfly. And this is where I'm at. Sorry, it's got a runaway thread. Started with the blue just in the middle here, and had done the majority of the ribbon, and then now I've moved up to do the black of the outline of the butterfly. So that's the Monarch. And the last project number 50, is Ladies Who Lunch, and this is a fox and rabbit one as well. Now I've done this on the same fabric as the Lady Queen, so please bear with me 1 second while I just hold over this one. And this is the start that I've got on the Ladies Who Lunch. So I started in the middle and I still haven't finished. There's still quite a few things to do, stitch in the middle here, but that will get some more stitching shortly. Okay, so that's 50 projects that I've got that I'm working on in 2022, and started with 50. I've got 40 remaining, and I hope to have the caterpillar cross stitch patterns finished by the end of the year. So that's one of my goals, is to actually finish all 4 of those projects. There's a couple of other smalls that I do want to finish, and I obviously larger projects take a little bit longer, but if I can finish all my small ones, it will allow me to bring quite a few new small ones into 2023. So my No New Starts group has currently got a weekend challenge, and I need to go and pick some peaches and stitch lots of 100 stitches. So I'm going to actually use one of my projects like Adele to just get some block colour in. That's going to be quick and easy. The other projects that I've got, the rest of the projects other than the Hello Caterpillar, I want to try to get 2022 stitches on each of those projects, the rest of the projects, between now and the end of year. So that's my WIP parade goal, is to try to do that, and I will keep track of that as I go through my videos on a fortnightly basis to see where I'm at with that goal. That tells me I need to do roughly 88,000 stitches between now and the end of year, and as I've done 100 and I think I've just hit 140,000 since the beginning of the year. I think that is doable. So let's see how I go. But so that's it for me, and I won't keep you any longer. It's been an hour and 11 minutes, which is way longer than what I expected, but hopefully you're still with me. You've got a nice cup of tea and you've been stitching, or a cup of coffee, and you've been stitching along while I've done my WIP parade. So I will try to get all my other WIPs that I've got taken into 2023 and get them prepared for another WIP parade of those projects. It won't be possibly this month, it'll be in September. So my next video will be in 2 weeks' time, preferably on a Saturday. It is easier for me to record on a Saturday, so I'll try to do that on a fortnightly basis to keep it regular. Thank you again for everybody that's come along and subscribed, watched the channel, liked and made comments. If you've got any questions of any of the projects that I've done, please just pop them down below in a comment, and I'll do the best I can to come back and answer all of those questions as soon as I can. If you haven't subscribed at the moment and you'd like to see how these projects or my goals go for the rest of the year, please click the subscribe button and maybe ring the bell if you want to be notified when I come back again. And it's something that I want to actually try to make sure that I'm showing the things that you guys want to actually see, answer any questions, as well as show you my progress that I've got on my patterns. I have lots and lots of different things in my stash, and I'll have to do a stash dive video going forward as well, because I have lots of stuff. Yeah. So my next video, as I mentioned earlier, I will have a giveaway on the next video, or a couple of giveaways on the next video. So by all means come back for that one, and I will ship anywhere, anything that I've got in my giveaways, I will ship anywhere in the world. It's not just for certain areas, and I understand why some Flosstube people do that, because of the cost of sending things over. I think the last order that I ordered from America, the actual order only cost me like $80, and they're trying to charge me $188 to post it over here. So, which is a little bit ridiculous for postage, yeah. Anyway, that's enough of that. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Have a lovely fortnight. I'll put everybody that I've mentioned in the video down below. Go and check out their channel, subscribe, give them some love, and yeah, take care and happy stitching. Hope to see you soon. See you later. Bye-bye.